Alright, here we have a Beamer TSR 7.0 meter power kite made by High Quality Design, otherwise known as HQ Power Kites. This is a low aspect ratio traction kite designed primarily for buggying, landboarding, snow kiting, particularly using a bar for controls. I'm going to do a little review on this kite, touch a little bit on its flight characteristics, and just kind of for general education on this kite. So we're going to start off with the build quality and features on this kite. The sail material is a ripstop nylon. I believe it's Chikara. Nice and crunchy. It's good material. We have a nice color scheme. It's red or orange and white and black on the front. The backside is completely white, and the reason for that is because of mainly for cost-cutting reasons. High quality design kites are designed to be good quality and not break easily on you, at the same time be cost efficient. So that's one of the ways they do that. Some of the other ways is, if we look at the bridles here, we have a really good material. I think it might be Spectra or Dyneema, but good quality lines there. And the attachment points, where do we go here? Right here, are pretty nice. It's not going to rip out. You're not going to worry about any of that. The downside is the knots here for the attached lines. Other companies like Flexifoil and Ozone a lot of times will use sewn attachments instead of knots. The reason being for greater aerodynamic efficiency. What that means is less drag in the air, so your kite goes faster and flies better. But it's not a huge deal, and it's a nice way to save money. So not a huge issue, just pointing it out. Let's move to the brake lines here. This is the brake line. It's really long because there's a lot of attachment points depending on what type of a bar or even handles you're using. A lot of flexibility there, and if you find one that you use, you can cut the rest of them off and lower your drag to make the kite fly a little bit better. So it's also, I don't know if you can tell here, but it's a little bit darker on the brake line here as opposed to the power line, so you can differentiate the two. Taking a look at the power line, we've got 3 attachment points for the same reason as the brake attachment points. Going to this part of the bridle here, it's adjustable. There's one knot here and here, and this is the middle part that can move around. This slightly changes the angle of attack. They have settings for speed and power. It's set for speed, I believe, right now, which also ends up giving a little bit more lift. This kite is not designed for lift, and you don't really get a lot out of it. So looking at the intakes, they span for the top part of the kite, don't go all the way to the edge like kites like the Blade. They don't have a mesh covering them, so they're wide open. This huge kite could absorb dogs and small children into the cells if you're not careful, because this is a big kite and soaks up a lot of air. Speaking of which, let's go into a little bit of the flying characteristics. Because this kite is so girthy, there's a lot, the wind has to travel from that intake all the way to the end here before the kite's completely inflated. Now that makes launching not that great. You launch it and you move it to the left or the right, and then it'll fill up with air, and then you're good. But a little bit of a pain, not too bad. So let's move on to the handles. The handles are good. They're aluminum, and they have these leaders that work well, but when you're flying like this, it will rub on your fingers if you don't have gloves. Not a great design. Flexi has better handles from that perspective. I like the aluminum because, in my opinion, it's stronger and less likely to break than, say, PVC handles. The lines themselves are sleeved and braided, and I think they're pre-stretched. You got blue for the right side, and your brake lines are gray. Red for the left side, along with red braided again, or sorry, gray brake lines. If you can see here, those little blue dots show you that you've got the right line in your hand there. So to minimize confusion when hooking up the lines, really great for beginners. So the kite killers here, we have the HQ Power Kites logo on there. This, instead of blue, is black. The other one is red for this tab right here, so you can tell which one is which. We've got a nice bungee material here. If you notice, there's clamps are metal. Kind of cheap design there. I don't know that I like that very much. Preferred the flexi sewn ones, but they work. But this is another reason that HQ keeps their costs down. So if you don't care too much about the looks of it, it works fine. This is how they attach. You use a lark's head on here, tie a knot. It's kind of a ribbony material. I don't like it too well, but it does the job, so can't complain that much. If we look at the pack here, it's a pretty tall pack because it's a pretty tall kite. It says HQ Power Kites on it in case you forgot what you're carrying. There's 2 compartments, stretch mesh for the sides. You can put your water bottle. I have a strop line in there right now. Handles, whoops, go in here. And then you've got one extra compartment which has got a huge, ridiculously large zipper on here. A lot of people comment on it. It's pretty stupid, but you know, it opens and closes like it should, and it doesn't really get clogged very easily. So I think I've covered as much as I can cover on this kite. A short little review for you, and have fun with it.